Next Bank is proud to sponsor Digital Weather Desk with local meteorologist Jared Floyd.
The Digital Weather Desk is your local source for the latest weather information to help keep you and your family safe and to plan your week. You can follow us on our social media platforms, download our app, and you can also find us at digitalweatherdesk.com. The Digital Weather Desk,
Powered by Century Next Bank.
Hey all, welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully you've had a great day, great afternoon. Been a pretty quiet day for our, well, I say quiet, it's been quiet inside the house, busy outside the house. We finished fence install day 2 today. So special shout out to Twin City Fence and Decks for getting us squared away and got the whole process done in 2 days. And so we're pretty pumped to have our backyard back. Let's take a look at I-20 across the area. Stella Street moving a little slowly. Overall, the forecast continues as such. Warm and breezy again tomorrow. The rain chances are back in on Thursday. The weekend looks dry. Next week, signs point as we get into March, perhaps becoming slightly more active, slightly more soggy, bringing rain chances in more frequently. Does that mean severe weather? Not necessarily. Does that mean heavy rainfall? Not necessarily. Just, again, some of the signals point toward rain chances and storm systems becoming a little bit more frequent once we get beyond a larger storm system middle to end parts of next week. Temperatures across the area, 50s along the Mississippi Valley, 60s farther south and west. But the warming trend has been on today. Most of us a good 10 to 15 degrees warmer than we were at this point yesterday. What's the difference? Well, dry air, low-level moisture's been on the increase to a certain degree, but really won't ramp up until tonight. But it's been the dry air, strong southerly winds, a lot of sunshine. That leads to the warming trend. In fact, Futurecast shows dew points as we head through the overnight hours tonight, eventually by sunrise tomorrow in the low to mid-50s, which is pretty much where air temperatures will be. So the air kind of becomes saturated through the overnight time frame, a process that will take a good bit of the overnight hours. And then we continue to stream that low-level moisture in, a lot of shallow moisture, cloud cover, and things of that nature ahead of a cold front, which will eventually bring rain chances through the day on Thursday, and then some drier air to punch in through the upcoming weekend. An increase in humidity is not necessarily the worst thing in the world, considering the dry ground and just the increased fire weather risk. Seeing higher dew points in a lot of low clouds and shallow moisture is not necessarily a bad thing. A look at wind speeds across the area at the 4 o'clock or bottom of the 4 o'clock hour, generally out of the south and still quite breezy in the 10 to 20 mile an hour range. Gusts have ranged anywhere from 25 to even close to 30 miles per hour in some spots this afternoon. In fact, peak wind gusts over the last 24 hours generally topping out between 24 and 28 miles an hour in a good chunk of the ArkLaMiss. Check the visible satellite. Days are getting longer, so we get to use the visible satellite a little bit longer. Usually 4:30 during the wintertime months, because you're already losing daylight, I have to switch over to the infrared. And I can't stand the infrared. Not that it's ever done anything to me. It's not like it tried to steal my car or anything. I'm just saying I like the visible satellite better because it's like you're looking from outer space and seeing clouds. And it's just cool. So as you take a look, you can see some high clouds. And that's really all we've worked with through the course of the daytime hours today. The low clouds will start to fill back in overnight as, again, shallow moisture starts to move back in across the region. And that shallow moisture brings some low clouds and just, again, a more saturated air mass. Radar doesn't show much. Don't really expect to see a lot in the next several days. Futurecast shows the potential for showers getting scoured out by a frontal boundary that will move through the area late Thursday and into late Thursday morning into early Thursday afternoon. Maybe a thunderstorm or two along the way late. Winds are back out of the south pretty quickly once that front clears. By late Friday, Saturday, Sunday, winds are back out of the south across the region. Hello, Karen. Thank you so much for joining in. And that leads the warming trend and kind of the surge in warmer air ahead of, guess what? Another cold front, which should arrive early to middle parts of next week. You can kind of see here, and I hope you guys pick up on this kind of stuff, but note the blue winds out of the north are obviously going to be bringing cooler air and then the warmer southerly winds, and then in between is where our cold front in some form would reside. But that's why I throw those wind barbs on there and show the coloring, because, again, it gives us the idea of where those frontal boundaries are without having to draw a cold front. And, again, this is early next week, and this is just one computer model's take on how an early next week front would set up. Again, I'm not overly concerned about storm systems in the short term. What I am paying a closer attention to, at least longer term, is maybe a storm system in some form or fashion in parts of next week. That would be probably next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, somewhere in that regard, maybe a little bit beyond that. That would be our next storm system beyond Thursday. And that's not even a given. Again, we're talking, that's a long way from now. So when I'm starting to talk like 9-10 days away, who knows what's going to happen. Lows tonight, low 50s. Clouds will pick back up. Winds will stay breezy out of the south. Retha, May, Janet, thank you so much for joining in. Mid-70s for highs tomorrow. Sharply warmer. And the clouds roll back in. Those winds south, 15 to 20 miles per hour. Some higher gusts not out of the question. So, again, quite breezy through the course of the day. Plan accordingly. Look at the 7-day forecast made possible by 3B Hardware. I really still have not budged much on the rain chances for Thursday. It is very meh. Highs will be in the low 70s, briefly cooler. I say cooler, it's still way above normal for this time of year. Jane, Jennifer, thanks so much for hopping in as well. And temperatures stay like that through the middle parts of next week. Now, again, I throw out that as temperatures trend above normal through next week. You bring a storm system in at some point. When you're that far above normal, you usually start thinking the possibility of strong to severe thunderstorms. Again, I have no indications, no like really strong signals pointing at that, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we could deal with a storm system mid to late parts of next week. On that note, the wife and I are going out of town late next week, and I know you're probably thinking, how in the world does the digital weather desk operate when Jared's out of town? Well, the digital weather desk just goes with us. In fact, during these tranquil patterns, and a lot of folks probably wonder, I wonder what Jared does when the weather's really, really quiet. Because it's not like there's not a lot of content to produce when the weather's not breaking. So what I do is I let my normal anxious self just let my anxiety run rampant and think of all the different things that could go wrong and all the different things that could happen and all the bad things that could happen so I can prepare for them. Case in point, like what happens if a camera breaks? Well, you have a backup camera. What happens if a microphone stops working? Well, you have a backup. So those are all types of things that while weather has been quiet and as the digital weather desk powered by Century Next Bank continues to creep away from infancy into more of a toddlerism, if you will, in terms of a business. One of those things is, and my wife and I, she threw this out there, is what are you going to do when we go out of town for events, weddings, things like that, because we will be going to a wedding in Galveston. A good friend of ours is getting married. Good friends of ours are getting married. So how does that work? Well, you take the laptop with you, you take a camera with you, you take the microphones with you, and you're prepared to do coverage from wherever, from whenever. We're planning to go to New York City at the end of next month. How does that work? Well, you hope that the weather cooperates. If not, my wife may be going with our friends alone, and I may be staying here. All depends on how the weather cooperates with our family's plans. And again, I want to stress to folks that these are all scenarios that we kind of ran through in our head before we decided to launch a digital weather platform. And these are all things that we've said, hey, are we willing to make those types of sacrifices as a family? And the answer was yes. So if we get stormy late next week, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I can guarantee you it is not something that I have not thought about. That's a double negative. Take stock in the fact that it is something that I have thought about. I should have just said that in the first place. And so there are plans and there are backup plans and there are plans to the backup plans and there are backups to the backups and all kinds of stuff like that. Anywho, So there's a look at the 7-day forecast and all that good stuff. Forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the Digital Weather Desk app. That's the ultimate backup to the backup. If for some reason I can't provide coverage to you, you have the app, which provides free alerts. You have a NOAA weather radio, hopefully. You have your subscription with Weather Call Next Gen. All of those things are different backups to the backups that in the event that I can't provide that minute-to-minute, second-to-second coverage, there's stuff that can still alert you, which is cool. We're really excited about the different options and opportunities that we're providing as a digital weather platform. Forecast, again, is always available on the app and on the website. Fishing game set to go out at 8 o'clock tonight, made possible by First South Farm Credit. I'll join you first thing tomorrow morning with a look at the forecast. Too Long Didn't Reads at 9:30 tomorrow. Pretty much just your normal day. Getting excited about the middle parts of the week and temperatures climbing. The fire weather risk is increased. That is the downside to all of this. While it is very spring-like and, it's nice and warm, the fire weather risk remains increased despite the gradual increase in humidity. Just be aware of those types of things, especially as folks continue to burn off vegetation from the ice storm. I'll check in with you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank, and have a great rest of your night.
My name's Chris O'Byrne. I'm with Brown's Roofing. There's a common misnomer in the insurance restoration industry that taking an insurance claim start to finish is similar to remodeling a bathroom. Well, in fact, there's a lot of red tape on the process. Sometimes major adjustments are needed to be able to get the work done and get the work done right. It is very important for an educated representative to get with you today and walk you through this process start to finish. Your peace of mind is our top priority.